3D Kitten in a Pocket Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi everyone! In today's video I'm going to be doing this really adorable little white and brown kitten, and it looks like it's inside a denim pocket, like in a pair of pants or like in a denim coat or something. I love kitties. I love kittens so much. This one does not look like my kitten. If it was based off of my cat, it would just look black with green eyes, because in pictures she shows up like a little ghost. But I switched up to this other little adorable kitten, and this is very reminiscent of a painting that I did probably about 3 years ago that was a little kitten inside a denim pocket, just like this. And that was actually on a piece of wrapped denim board. That is one of the few times that I have tried painting on alternative materials, and it's not easy. I wouldn't really recommend it, especially not burlap. I painted a turkey on burlap once. It was alright, but it hurt. It's not good, and it ruins your brushes. So I would just recommend not doing that. But that's a whole nother topic. So I hope you like this cute little design, and don't forget to click subscribe to see my future videos as well.
So to start with, I'm going to begin with an overlay of a medium blue acrylic. Any blue that you use, you just want to make sure that that's the color that you want your denim to be. There is going to be various levels of that color once you start adding all of the little woven textures in it, but you know, that's the basis. So I'm using a medium blue that has no glitter in it at all. It's just a very opaque, creamy color. If your acrylic does have some glitter in it, it won't be the end of the world. It won't look as realistic, but once you start adding some of the cross-hatching to create that woven appearance that the material has, it probably wouldn't show up all of that much anyways. Depending on, I suppose it would depend on how much glitter it was. After I have that in, I'm going to just encase this nail with a layer of clear acrylic. The clear acrylic is where you're going to be adding your strength. Without it, it's not that the nail would be weak necessarily, but it wouldn't be as strong. And the other thing is that I've said this in the past as well, but if you've never heard me say this before, I use clear acrylic a lot on top of my colors of acrylic and glitter and everything, even if it wouldn't be necessary, just because it is a less expensive product and it makes your color acrylic go significantly farther, because you're pretty much cutting it without compromising any of your color. So that is one of the main reasons that I do this, besides the whole strength debacle. So if you are actually wearing this, it would definitely add strength. That would be beneficial. Otherwise, it just does make your acrylic last farther and your money go further. So then I'm going to be filing it with a 180 grit file to remove any of the weird little lumps, bumps, and imperfections that there may possibly be. After I have that, it's got a nice smooth shape and nice apex. I'm going to go ahead and buff it with a 240 grit head buffer to remove any scratches that first file may possibly have left behind. So then after that's buffed, I'm going to go ahead and make up my pocket. So I'm going to be using that same exact color of acrylic, that same dark blue or medium blue, and I'm going to be just thickening up the very area where I want the pocket to be. Now you do definitely want there to be a good little lift on the pocket. You want to have some thickness for sure, because if you don't, it's not going to show up nearly as much as being dimensional, because it's the same color on top of the same color. So you want to make sure that it is thick enough that you can see that it is 3D and that there's actually something there to look at. And also, while you're doing this, kind of sculpt out a couple little wrinkles in the denim to make it look like it is actually material and does have a certain fold that happens with it, and it's not quite so flat. So now I'm going to be sculpting my kitten, and unfortunately a section of this video got missed, which is why this part of it is in real time, so that I can give you a lot of verbal instructions as to what happens when I'm off camera. So to start with, that's the cat's neck, but then there's also a head that I did next, which is a nice sort of a soft triangle with then 2 ears, and then arms, and 2 arms, an elbow, paws, and then you also want to make sure that you build up the bridge of his nose. So all of that unfortunately was missed. My camera malfunctioned, or I malfunctioned. Somewhere something went wrong, and I don't know whether to blame myself or the electronics. I'm feeling like it's the electronics, but you never really know. And then I'm going to take some gold acrylic, and I'm going to be adding just some color on my kitty. I didn't want him to just be solid white. I wanted to have a little bit of a golden hue. And this gold acrylic that I have does have a shimmer to it, which is just fine. It does actually almost make him look furrier. Gives the acrylic, it makes it less flat. And then after I have some of those gold hints on him, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of a brown nose with brown acrylic. So now with brown paint, so I'm going on and switching to paint now, I'm going to be adding just a little bit of a shadow inside the ears, as well as a couple little stripes, very soft little stripes. I'm going to start like basically almost like eyebrows, and then add a couple more above that on the forehead, and then some on his cheeks. These are very classic tabby cat kitten stripes. And then also just defining his lips and his chin, and then around the eyes where the eye sockets would go in. So just blend that out. This paint is a little bit diluted. That's going to make when you do the eye sockets, that's almost like a sketch. It'll make painting his eyes easier in a moment. Add a couple little stripes on his elbow, and then define his toes of the paw. Yep, just like that. Anywhere you see fit that there needs to be a little something. And then with white, that once again is diluted, I'm going to be highlighting him. So I'm going to be highlighting his cheeks and the bridge of his nose. And like I said, I missed a big section of the acrylic, and it was an important part of doing the cat's face, and I do apologize. I will find a video that is similar, that has similar features, and I'll put that in the description box below so that you can see basically what it is and how it's done. And then with full strength white, I'm going to be adding a couple little hairlines in the ears, as well as a couple little highlights on his cheeks and his chin, and then a couple little eyebrow wisps of white lines of white hairs. Just like that. Even my black cat does have a couple straggly white eyebrow whiskers, so I decided those will definitely have to be added. And then white whiskers. And then I'm going to be adding, just with diluted white paint, I'm going to be highlighting the pocket a little bit. So just a little bit, not too much. And definitely don't be afraid to use your fingers to dab off some of that extra paint. That is going to something that I always like to do. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to be adding the green in his eyes with some really, really, really bright green. You could also give your cat some blue eyes or golden eyes. I personally always go green for a cat. And then I'm going to be outlining his eyes with some black paint. Very simple little outlines. Make sure that they're really bright and easy to see and very vibrant looking. And then also add the little vertical pupil, just like that. And then I'm touching it up a little bit because that one was a little less vertical, it was more of an angle or slant. Just make sure that fix that up, and then add some white highlights in the eyes, make them look nice and shiny. And then I'm going to take and just touch them up again with some black. Make sure, I like to keep going back and forth with my colors of paint to make sure that everything does look like I want it to look. Even if, something doesn't go right the first time, there's always opportunities to adjust things, especially when you're working with paint. You can always repaint. And then with diluted white paint, I'm going to go through and add all kinds of cross-hatching all over the denim portion of this design. So you're going to add a whole bunch of little lines in one direction and then switch it up and go the other way. So horizontally and vertically. And you want to cover this whole nail with that. And then after you have that done, go ahead and add some shadows with diluted black. Doing these cross hatches is going to make it look like it's got that nice woven pattern. Work quickly. Don't overthink it. Try to just get them on there and fill it in. If you think about it too much and they get too even, it's going to look a little bit more, it's not going to have a very natural feel. It's going to look a lot more structured. And then I'm going to be adding some matte top coat over the background and over the cat. And just very light matte top coat. You don't want to over apply this or you're going to fill in all of your 3D art and it's going to be less 3D. And then some glossy over his eyes and over his nose, and once that is all dry, you are all done. I hope you like this design. Like I said, I did do a painting that was similar to this, and it is on Instagram, but I will repost on Instagram if anyone's curious on seeing that. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!